Should animal testing be banned? In fact, so this is one of the most controversial stories, debates, and let's just say a little topic that you should most likely want to stay away from if you don't want negative comments on YouTube. However, this is a debate channel and I rarely get any views anyway. As a result, I will be doing this debate myself. Should animal testing be banned? Look at this rodent, really, really cute. Animal testing has been a thing for centuries. You've got to know that lots of scientists have been testing on animals since like the dawn of time. If we wanted to do a little test on someone else, well then, firstly, when mortals were invented, we could not test them on someone else without, breaking the law. But then, suddenly, testing on animals was not illegal. As a result, we were able to go ahead and start testing on these cute little furry animals so we can go ahead and find advancement in science of medicines. Of course, there are a few flaws, such as the fact that, this is like, number one, not a human. But it does help a lot of people going ahead and doing things too. It does help a lot of people go ahead and save people. And it does help people to go ahead and create new ways to save people, which is practically the same thing as number two. In the end though, here we go. Let's start off with the pros team. And good thing though, there's no red except for the title. Let's get this started with. Now for the pros team, we have the first point. And now the first point is that animal testing can go ahead and kill animals. They can go ahead and kill them too, mainly because these are side effects and have never been tested before. They are the first test subjects. And because of that, they shouldn't be put in danger to help all those humans. Yes, COVID vaccines went ahead and were using rats to go ahead and have vaccines tested on them, but most of them didn't die, and I'm pretty sure that most of them survived COVID. They're animals after all. COVID originated from animals. And now for the cons team, for their first point. Here we go. So, animal testing has saved human lives. And when animal testing saves human lives, which is the dominant species on Earth currently, it will be able to go ahead and do loads and loads of other things. We were able to go ahead and cure certain diseases. We will be able to go ahead and cure other things, other cancers, maybe. In the end, though, some people call it worth it for animal testing to work. And now, for the second point of the pros team. Now, these guys go ahead and mean business. They go ahead and say the laws, other kinds of testing exist that don't really harm all those animals, such as computer models, and maybe testing on actual human subjects. Obviously, the second one is unpreferable compared to computer models, and computer models themselves really are pretty accurate, but as the cons will tell, we see some problems. The second point, though, is that all these computer models and other methods that don't really harm animals but still test the things, they're not really accurate. Real life cannot be simulated by just any computer model simulation that we have right now. Yeah, although it would take a little faster to get results, it will probably be a little bit more inaccurate. Give or take, there it is. Give a little speed, take away a little speed, then you're given a little bit of inaccuracy. Well, next up, we have the third point of the pros team. I decided I just want to do 2 and 3 together, because there are 4 points, and I really want to do this as 3. Laws don't really protect all these animals used in the experiments. Yeah, there are pretty much no laws that go ahead and protect all these animals in these experiments, so whatever happens to these experiments, that can be done in the name of science. Allegedly. And now for the third point and second point of the cons team is that computer models aren't really as accurate as animal testing. Yeah, I already mentioned that, didn't I? Well, for the third point of the cons team is that laws exist to make sure that all these animal testing are possible. Once all this animal testing is possible, there is, so much that go ahead and do other things too. You can make sure that it's safe as possible, and there are lots of laws that already grant that, although not in every country. It's not a universal thing yet. And now for the fourth and final point of the pros team is that animal testing often goes ahead and isn't as accurate because laboratory animals aren't the same as people. I mentioned that at the start of the video, which is a pretty valid point. And now for the fourth and final point of the cons team is that banning animal testing will be hard because it will completely change the way that scientists work. And if it completely changes the way that scientists work, then that's not going to work out because scientists need to go ahead and do the exact same routine every day. Otherwise, they go ahead and risk ruining their experiments and not following the Socratic method. So in the end, should animal testing be banned? That is your opinion, and my opinion, though, is that, it shouldn't be banned, at least not on monkeys. Monkeys themselves may be able to feel, but at least they are 99% human. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you guys soon. At least until next time, Shahana, peace. Bye bye.